really good quote in Game of Thrones where, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but
We're not, I bet the viewers are.
there's a bit of incestuous sort of things happening. She said, and this is the crux of the point, is that the only thing that stays the same is what we desire, what humans want.
Dun, 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 it's Haydosh. Dun, 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 and Candy. Dun, 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 coming at you live.
And this is the crux of the point, is that the only thing that stays the same is what we desire, what humans want. And that's the core of the issue here, is that people won't look beyond what they want themselves because people are too busy. People
are too selfish.
Everyone has issues in their life. Even the most perfect lives, like our lives look like perfect compared to people living in slums. But we have our issues too.
It's just the old, like, me versus other people. Like, why not try to fix everything that we can?
Because that's not human nature, and the problem is that people almost know that. Like, it's hard to convince people to cooperate. People aren't interested in what actually is. They're interested in what people think is, kind of like what their
perception becomes reality.
Perception, exactly. The big thing in Cowspiracy is that meat is sort of the normal. It's the standard.
Yeah.
Setting out to change the standard, the normal thing for everyone.
Is that the incestuous link?
No, the link for that was that people want what they want, and that's the only thing that's consistent in human nature.
Yeah. Well, but it's not hard. Like, in the same way, it's not like, oh, let me jump off this building to save 5 children.
All it would take is a big, like, government action
it's really
marketing
not hard,
plan.
I think.
Ram it home why we need it, because in 30 years we'll be, kaput in so many ways. We'll be stuffed in so many ways, like environmental, socially, whatever. Like, ram it home. People might not like it at the start, but in 10 years, if we do it, that'll be the norm.
I feel it's like the lack of knowledge is the main factor.
Yeah, I didn't hurt.
Because you
are completely ignorant to it, as were probably some of the people they interviewed who are the head of Greenpeace or whatever. Either ignorant or bored off. I consider myself educated.
Your balance, you never like sort of...
Ignorant.
Except for
I'm really ignorant. But I mean,
it's pretty ignorant to say that you're never ignorant.
No, you said you're always ignorant.
Descartes.
Wait, were you saying you're never ignorant, or are you saying you're always ignorant?
I know that I know nothing.
Yeah, well, that's a classic phrase.
For a good reason.
Yeah.
You can't say that I'm not ignorant, especially after you've just, like...
You said I was ignorant.
I was ignorant to all this knowledge.
No, I'll look that. I'm not ignorant. I'm ignorant. You are...
completely ignorant to it.
Your balance, you never, like, sort of...
Ignorant. To me, an ignorant person is someone who doesn't care about the information they're like. They're focused on what I'm open to new information.
Yes, you are.
That's what I mean.
Yes, that's
if ignorance not the right word, I apologise.
Good call. Open-minded.
Open-minded. Okay.
They pick and choose what facts and stuff to believe, and the thing,
it's a self-confidence.
What you're presented with in that is a bunch of facts, but the facts you're questioning. Even I was questioning, like, okay, he keeps drawing on this same UN study a lot, and he keeps drawing on these other studies. What is the methodology behind that? And that's the doubt. And really, the only people that are in a position to comment on that are the experts in the field,
or the UN people who conducted it,
as in any field. But the problem is, people don't really trust each other because you got to look after yourself first, etc., etc. There's this doubt, and because of this plausible doubt, people pick and choose facts that back their opinions.
Someone who's so convinced can watch that, and there's like videos of people who watch it and they're like, that was the biggest piece of garbage I've ever seen in my whole life, because you've got that preconception. If someone who's like, no, I hate vegans, they're going to go into it with this idea and they'll think, oh, this study, that's a shit study. Like, it's called the confirmational bias. I learned it in my psychology. You've already made up your mind about something. Your brain subconsciously, which is quite amazing, subconsciously picks out the bits it wants to hear and ignores the bit it doesn't want to hear. Yeah. Because it is challenging and draining to change your perception. Did you know that actually you're exactly wrong on this? Yeah. And here's the proof. It's like, damn, it's like threatening.
Yeah.
It's like, because your body, it's your natural instinct to avoid threat. It's like fight or flight.
I don't know how read you guys are about Aristotle or anything like that.
Not at all.
But he makes some interesting sort of political like observations, but what you're talking about essentially is we'd need to be a society where we just accept objective empirical evidence and say, this is a fact and this is what we need to do. But people don't work like that because there's this doubt, and that's where the flaws in democracy are.
I think the reason it hasn't already been sorted out is because exactly this. Like, if 50 years ago, like, the first study came out and they're like, oh, it's no good, and then the meat industry was like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
That's no good. And here you go. I'll put the towel in and we'll work on soy instead.
There are much simpler things to understand in the world that are hopeless causes. Case in point, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, etc. It's
so easy to shut it down.
It is. There is overwhelming evidence out there. Even like it's so ironic that anti-vaxxers take all their arguments from a study, but ignore the thousands of studies.
Other studies
that are
counteract
refuting, disputing, pointing out every flaw that was in that study, saying why it should never have been published. Yeah. Hopefully, over time, we just sort of slowly get smarter as a race. The standard used to be high school in this country, and now it's tertiary. So over time, we sort of slowly get smarter. Hopefully, you know, there'll be a higher correlation of more people just picking the right thing to pick.
I agree. I would have to say, like, over time, it can't not win. Or based on their numbers, either...
It could be too late.
Lots of people die, or... Oh, you reckon that world just could end?
Well, I mean...
What's going to happen to the chicken on bread? He's converted already.
No.
It's too late. We need to stop right now.
Like the picture they painted in the doco, man. Like, it gets to a point where they're invading each other rather than just stop eating meat, which sounds ridiculous, but like, you know...
Imagine that. Yeah. But how ridiculous is that? Imagine if there officially was a war that could have been...
that ended the world.
Depending on who you ask, we do that for oil and stuff already, man. You know, we're already we've been fighting over resources since the dawn of time. You know, that's what humans are. We're petty. So dumb. We're looking after our own interests.
I guess. Yeah.
It's just human nature. You know,
veganism gets a bad name because it can get the bad image of people wanting to be morally superior, as opposed to being vegan to stop happening in 30 years and save the world, sort of thing.
They don't like it when someone else tells them this is how you need to live your life.
Okay, so here's how you say it. We all have to save the world. You're all required to do your bit to be superstars. Yeah. But to do that, we're going to call on you all to stop eating meat to save the world.
Like the war, they were like, we need every brother in arms stand together. Together we go to war, sacrifice. Yeah, imagine... They got people to sacrifice their life. War, you put your life on the line. They go put their life on the line for a theoretical thing like standing up for their country. Like, you're getting rid of something on your plate, not even putting your life on the line. If they could get the propaganda up to get people to
Well, you're getting rid of the middleman. You know, instead of having a beef patty, you have a patty made out of the shit that would have been fed
to a cow. And then you can have, what's the conversion of energy? 100 to 1? You can have 100 patties for every 1 kilo of beef.
Do you know what it reminded me of? You know that scene in Willy Wonka, like where they... make like he starts with like this huge thing and it gets like
how they make the
and as it comes out the gobstoppers.
It's like
except even like scale that up even more massively.
My summary is that not many people know about the meat industry. That needs to change. 2, the amount of water used and energy and food used to feed the cattle is a massive disproportionate scale, and we could have a lot more food otherwise. The human population also exacerbates this. Our population is probably pretty too big.
He's like, did it get through?
That's about it. I guess Greenpeace and that, I thought they were good, but they seem to be dodgy as well in covering it up.
Maybe they do know, but they're just like, right, people are going to hate us for doing
that's what I mean. That's still dodgy, man.
Yeah, that is dodgy.
That was the Al Gore quote, you know, like it's hard enough to get people to switch off their lights and care about carbon, let alone methane. Stop eating something that's normal to them.
Yeah.
I'd give a rap, but I think I've pretty much been talking the whole time, so
that's right, we can
my rap's pretty much covered.
Yeah.
What would you give that out of 5, Hayden?
Oh, Margaret and
Margaret. 4. Why am I Margaret? What about David and Hayden?
Margaret rules the roost. She's got David's balls like this.
Yeah, fair enough. Margaret wears the pants.
I just picture as the dominant figure, Dan, so that's why I gave you Margaret.
I'm definitely Margaret.
10 seconds ago, I didn't want to be Margaret. Now he wants to be Margaret. Why? Because I opened my mouth and said Margaret was good.
That's something
That's
David
why.
would say.
Who's Margaret? Anyway, I give it 4.5 because it changes your mind and is interesting at the same time. You?
Half star.
Oh,
just kidding.
He's doing the David Margaret.
Look, it was pretty suggestive. That was the only thing. He could have just presented, this is a fact, this is a fact, this is a fact, and then you go, oh fuck, you know, tell me how to fix it, you know.
So what's your actual rating?
As a in terms of what impact?
Just in terms of, you know, what do you rate it out of 5? Don't
thanks for the clarity.
Keep it simple.
Probably 3.5. Like, it was fairly comprehensive and fairly, like, informative.
I think we've got to call that a wrap. Keen to get you back on again, Dandy. Not you. Either as a hosting gig or, you know, to progress you.
Hosting gig. Mate, I don't the first day. You're already offering me a hosting gig. You seem a little desperate.
He's right. You're not going to host. Me and him are the host. You might just be back on as a
now
guest.
I want to. Now I want to. You know?
We're going to keep you on the street.
You gotta leave him.
Now it's less like I'm being paid to be here and more like I actually want to be here.
We'll see how the focus group perceive you. If you don't hit it with the 18 to 25-year-old females, you're out.